Hi, Nadia. I am going to give you some feedback on your personal project. Um, this sheet is, I think, pretty useful for a new teacher. However, um, I'm wondering if someone who's new to this would need more convincing. Because you have the myth, you have a sort of a short statement. Um, uh, and Uh, I'm wondering if people would need more explanation. Like using AI is cheating. Well, it could be, right? So there's just it's sort of the range of ways it um, would would be cheating, would not be cheating. It's kind of a continuum. And so I like your list. The depth isn't huge there. And then, sorry, what else was I going to look at here? And then you have the myths and facts that you've found here, although there's just not much. There's no, I mean, it's fine. It's sort of the same thing, but in a text format. Then you have your plan, um, and so I think it probably took about 4 hours to do this, right? I think that's the whole thing. Um, so yeah, the depth of it, I guess that's you've got, um, sorry, with the personal plan, you've got UNESCO. I don't see the resources here. And it's not that you would really have, given the myths that you've given are so simple that it's not that you'd really need these resources. Um, so yeah, I think it's useful. I wonder if it would have been better to have kind of a complimentary written handout that go in more depth, particularly at the master's level. So there's nothing wrong with this. It's just in your evaluation here. Um, you basically use a couple of tools. I don't see any learning outcomes that you um, identify with with our course, so that would be have to be done. But uh, so this is a very competent project, but it's not a wow, like whoa, that's A plus, no question about it. Now I think it's narrow your scope, and uh, because it's a short project that you're kind of throwing in there. um, I would say, see, it's hard to know where 9 to 10 hours went for research and planning here. Um, so it doesn't feel like the summary of the project is so simple that the depth isn't very clear. So this is more like an A minus to an A, and I would not encourage you to do any more work on this. I mean, if you did, it would be to something to demonstrate the depth. Um, because right now it's just sort of this kind of chart, and it's a good chart, but it's kind of that social media type chart that someone looks at and says, "Yeah, okay." Not digging them deeply into the myths, because it's easy. Like nothing ever produces, for example, always produces um, uh, perfect information. You'd almost better be saying, "Well, I can trust AI most of the time," and that's I mean, it's probably, well, that's a myth. Like, I guess trading is a myth. I can trust AI almost all the time, and it's like, no, you can't. So as opposed to, I think the way you stated it is it never makes errors, but that's setting up what we call a straw horse, right? So in the sense that it's easy to knock that argument down. So, yeah, that's what I see it as. And if it was to be better, it would be like more of a polished kind of two-pager, actually explaining those myths and kind of saying, well, there is some truth to this, that it does. Let's just take a look at your myths here, for example. That's the thing. So there is s- well, the AI replaced teachers. I think you need more like reasoning why that isn't the case. And so what teachers would do and that kind of thing. So to get into a depth, always gives correct answers. It's getting better and better. Here's the accuracy of it. So what is like all that research? How was that articulated? But I don't think you need to do that. You've done so well in the course. So I think you're perfectly fine just leaving it the way it is if you wish.